Do you know the reason why women's underwear almost always has a bow on the front? Because it's not just about the appearance. In the past, it actually had an incredibly important function. I'll explain what that feature is and why it is still found on the front of underwear today. Because if you take a closer look, you'll notice that almost every piece of women's underwear really does have such a bow on the front. To understand the reason for this, you have to go back at least 100 years or even further in history. Because back then, the bow had an extremely important function. Back in those days, the small bow was primarily responsible for holding the underwear in place since there were no comfortable or stretchy fabrics available yet. This essentially means that because there was no elastic underwear that would stay up on its own, you had to carefully secure everything at the top with a thin ribbon. Right at the front, it was tied into a decorative bow, which ensured that women wouldn't accidentally lose their underwear while moving. Furthermore, in addition to that, it also served to help women easily identify and know which way to put on their underwear since the bow was always at the front. Now just try to imagine for a moment you lived over 100 years ago and were getting ready to put on your underwear. Especially early in the morning in complete darkness, that was already a bit challenging. After all, there were no light switches yet to turn on a lamp or anything. You had to do everything in total darkness. By simply feeling for that small decorative bow at the front of the underwear, women always knew exactly which way it should go and simply couldn't put it on the wrong way. But now you might wonder, if those were the original reasons for the bow on women's underwear, why do we still find such a bow on almost every single pair of women's panties today? In fact, nowadays it is mainly there because on the one hand, it looks quite pretty and charming, and on the other hand, because of the very long-standing tradition. Write down in the comments below if you already knew this, and if you now want to know why you should always stick these parts in your bathroom, then check out the video you now see on the screen. Click on it directly.